A lot of human resources and money have been invested in the betterment of mankind. While many milestones are achieved, other mismanagements have led to misery and a great loss of both money and time, even claiming people's lives. In this video, we'll be covering some of these. Yangtze River Three Gorges Dam. First proposed in 1919, the groundwork started in 1994. The dam was criticized all across China for damaging the ecosystems and displacing around 1.2 million people. In addition, the project cost was 4 times the original budget, making it over $37 billion. It is claimed to be the biggest dam in the world, but its construction also proved to be catastrophic for everything in the vicinity. St. Francis Dam, United States. This dam was constructed between 1924 to 1926, located in the San Francisco Canyon. It was built to meet the growing water demands of Los Angeles, but due to defective soil foundations and several engineering shortcomings in the design, its building cost a massive $1.3 million. The dam also collapsed, claiming 431 lives. This was not only poor execution and planning, but also the political nature which was born into the construction of this dam. Big Dig, US. Originally destined to be completed in 1998 at an estimated cost of $2.8 billion, it was the most expensive highway project in the US and was plagued by delays, leaks, design flaws, and charges of poor execution. The project was completed in 2007 for $8.08 billion. As a result, the consortium that oversaw the project agreed to pay $407 million in restitution. If they paid that much in restitution, it can only be imagined what the corruption amounts could have been. The Forest City, Malaysia. Forest City in Malaysia, now labelled as the Ghost City, was destined to be a futuristic smart virtual city a long time ago. Designed specifically for Chinese investors, the city was estimated to cost nearly $100 billion by 2035. Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad banned foreigners from owning property in Forest City. There was an outflux of investors from the city, discouraging further investments. Only 500 people will be living here by 2020. This was not only a flop, but also raised questions over the intentions of the Prime Minister and the government of Malaysia. The Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall was a concrete barrier built by the Soviet Union to divide the Soviet-occupied Berlin from the Allied-occupied West Berlin. It was built by East Germany on the pretext of protecting its population from fascist elements conspiring to prevent the building of a socialist state in East Germany. Many were killed while trying to trespass the wall. East Berliners became very ingenious in their attempts to flee to the west, but sadly many attempts ended in tragedy. It was finally demolished in 1990. The Wall of Mexico. The Trump Wall, or Wall of Mexico, was started during the presidency of Donald Trump and has been a crucial part of his electoral campaigns of 2016. Then President of Mexico, Enrique Peña Nieto, refused to pay for the building cost, so the United States had to pay it. This wall was about 700 miles long and had a cost of about $21.6 billion. The wall was not completed and roughened up the relations between USA and Mexico. The Line, NEOM City, Saudi Arabia. The Line is a part of NEOM, the virtual city of Saudi Arabia. This wonderful project of a skyscraper more than 10 kilometers in length has become controversial because of the forced displacement of natives, which has led to small disputes and even bloodshed. There were also cases of land grabbing, which were later covered up by the authorities, but surely there seems to be some other intent, judging by how desperate they are for the coordinates. The Interstate H3. It is perhaps the most beautiful and most controversial highway, built with some eye-catching views. It stretches for about 16 miles and connects Pearl Harbor to Oahu's southern coast. Perhaps the biggest factor was the fear of locals, fear from over-urbanization. It was a beautiful project wasted because of the fear of controversies and threats. Istanbul Canal. Turkey plans to build this between the Red Sea and the European and Asian waters. So the western part of Russia and other Red Sea countries must pass through this strip to connect to the rest of the world. 10 retired admirals were imprisoned for their criticism of this mega project. However, Turkey still doesn't get to make any money from it because of the Bosphorus Treaty, which proved against the favour of Turkey. It was a big controversy around construction and corruption. Denver International Airport, US. Though built with great zeal and zest, the Denver International Airport has failed to inspire many people. Because of its design, it is often called the haunted airport, and also because of how empty it stays throughout the year in comparison to other international airports. It was a grand waste of money because the utility was nothing compared to the costs. Montreal Olympic Stadium, Canada. Its building cost 13 times the original cost. There is no doubt that there was corruption here. There were about 3,000 staff working 24 hours a day. The Mayor of Montreal and the Chief Architect faced multiple insults on the opening day. The condition worsened because of the several labour strikes. It was a letdown for both the public and the reviewing authorities. The Hubble Space Telescope. The legendary Hubble Space Telescope was launched into space in 1990. Its building took almost 20 years, about 7 years more than the original time expected. Not only time, but it also cost 3 times the original estimated amount. It cost $1.5 billion US. Even though the government was in full support, it still got delayed by more than half a decade, and it was suspected that there was lots of corruption in its construction, which is why it cost 3 times the original cost. FUHRER Bunker, Berlin. The FUHRER bunker was built by the then feared German dictator of Germany. This bunker was the last Führer headquarters for Adolf Hitler during the war. The building of this bunker resulted in a mere loss of €5 million, such a heavy price to pay for the safety of just one man. Maybe he feared something was coming and planned for it beforehand. The World, Dubai. Announced in 2003, these islands are still not successful enough as they were initially expected. Unlike the Palm Islands, this was a smaller project, but it was still not inaugurated and did not have the impact it should have had considering the huge amounts spent on these series of islands. The Scottish Parliament Building, UK. The building came to a standstill in 2004 when the chief architect died. This construction process was complicated because of the high expectations, its unusual design, and the increasing construction cost. It was obviously covering something fishy since something so simple became so complicated. These factors made this project more controversial and unstable in reference to a megaproject. The Ciudad Real Central Airport, Spain. In 2012, the financial difficulties forced the airport management to file for bankruptcy after accumulating a debt of more than €1 billion and was eventually closed. It was reopened in September 2019 after being sold for €10,000. The United States wasted $17 billion on this city, which was built for millions but has never been used for living. It remains completely useless to date.